Good evening. What's up, people, party people? Hopefully, your night, your day has been going well. If you're watching this live, I like to call Thursdays Friday Eve. So, hopefully, your Friday Eve has been spectacular and is getting you set and ready for your weekend. You are watching another episode of Speak Life Lessons. I am your host, Natasha Bryant. I am a psychotherapist, confidence mindset coach, speaker, author, and the owner of Speak Life Transformation, which is a private practice of mental wellness and mental health practice located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You can find out about me going to speaklifetransformation.com, or you can visit natashabspeaks.com to learn more about my services and how to book me to speak. But let's get into lesson number 7 of 8. We are 2 lessons away from being done this 8-part series. If you haven't seen the other series, no worries. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the Speak Like Transformation TV YouTube channel so you can be able to get notified when I go live again, and also so you can be able to check out all the previous videos, all the previous episodes of Speak Life Lessons, and all the other videos that I have on here, because let me tell you, this YouTube channel drops gems always. And if you're watching this on the Mogul TV Global Network, make sure you stop over on the Unapologetic Living TV show. I have my TV show here on the Mogul TV Global Network. Check out season 1. Season 2 is coming this summer. I'm actually recording now to get ready for season 2. So check that out on the mogul.tv. And today's episode is another one where I have a special guest who has picked a poem from the My Self Talk Speaks Life Inspirational coloring book. And we're going to be talking about, actually, let's hold off. Let me hold off. Let's hold off on the topic. Let me bring my guest first. I'm so excited to have her on here. I first met her by being on her platform, on her podcast. And so I'm so honored to now have her on my platform. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome my girl, Eva.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Hey.
Conversation.
Yes, I'm so excited. So tell the people who you are and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Eva Jean-Charles. Most people just call me Eva, and I am the founder of an organization called Black on Black Ed, which is all about reframing the ideology from Black on Black crime, the fallacy of Black on Black crime, and supporting schools and school leaders and teachers in building a student-centered mindset so that we can amplify the voices of Black and Brown students. So that is the work that I do. I am also a full-time classroom teacher, so I am still 100% in the trenches with any of my educators out there. It is not easy. These post-COVID kids are on another level. But with our student-centered practice, with our student voice, when we learn how to meet their needs the way that they need them met, we're able to kind of dig past the layers of all the things that are going on, and support them in the way that they need, and in a way that can be fun for us, that can bring fun and joy and excitement back into the classroom. So that's overall what I do.
Yes, I love it. And that's how we end up connecting, because both our passions of making sure that students are heard, students are supported. So I love Black on Black Ed and all the things that you guys have been doing. So let's talk about the poem that you picked from the My Self Talk Speaks Life Inspirational coloring book. What was the poem that you picked?
I picked It's Okay.
Yes, it's okay. So I'm going to read it first. I'm going to read it to you, everyone, first. And also, wait, let me actually set the stage for. You know what? Wait. I forgot to include Instagram. There we go. Instagram is now part of the party. This is what happens when I didn't do the roll call. Usually I do my roll call. YouTube check. Mogul TV Global Network check. Now we have Instagram check. Everybody's here now. Welcome. Do know, for those who are watching this live, the comments are open and available on both YouTube and on Instagram. So feel free to comment. Feel free to ask questions. This is very much of an interactive dialogue, conversational type of experience. So feel free, for those who want to join, say hi, hello, welcome, all the things. And so yes, Eva picked It's Okay. And I guess the motivation behind this poem when I was writing it was um the idea that a lot of times, well, one of the reasons why we end up feeling often anxious about things, or that we often feel overwhelmed, is this pressure to have to show up and do all the things and be all the things. And sometimes we just need to give ourselves the permission that it's okay. Like, it's okay if it doesn't work out. It's okay if it is. It's okay. It's okay. And sometimes I've done this with clients where just saying that took a lot of relief off. Like, just being able to say, like, it's okay. Like, if it doesn't work out, it's okay. Or if this doesn't happen, or it's okay. Because what's happening usually is you're saying to yourself, it's not okay. And if it doesn't work out, everything is going to fall apart. And so that was the power or the motivation behind the poem. And let's read it to see what exactly it says. So again, for all my fellow listeners, if you have the Myself Talk Speaks Life inspirational coloring book, pull it out, color while you're watching. Pull out the poem "It's Okay" and read along with me. And it says this: it's okay if I do not have all the answers. It's okay if I disappoint others. It's okay if no one understands. It's okay if I don't do it perfectly. It's okay if it is not done my way. It's okay if they say no. It's okay if I am not the strong one. It's okay if I fail. It's okay if I'm not like everyone else. It's okay. Why? Because none of this determines if I'm enough, who I am, or what I am capable of. So, Eva, tell me, what made you choose this poem out of all the other poems?
Because I think that it's the one that I needed to hear. And it's the one that I need the most reminders about. I
Mm,
am
hmm.
definitely a recovering perfectionist, and I'm even before I prepped to say that, I was going to say I am a perfectionist, and had to like say
Mm,
no. We are working on unpacking that. Right, I
hmm.
am and have been pretty much my entire life. I'm the oldest sibling of four and from a Caribbean household. There were a lot of expectations from a very young age.
Mm,
There
hmm. Hmm.
was a experiencing poverty and seeing the firsthand what that and how that impacted the lives and mental health of people in my
Hmm.
family. There
Hmm.
was just so many things that were telling me that what you are and who you are isn't enough. And so that
Mm,
part of my psyche. And no matter how many how many accolades and how many yeses and how many none of
hmm.
it was filling that void of
Hmm.
this overarching feeling
Mm,
and narrative that I was telling myself that I'm not doing enough, that I'm not enough, that I'm not getting enough, I'm not starting. Like they're
yeah.
just all of the things. And so I
Hmm.
think that reading this poem, it was just powerful to it was a powerful moment for me
Mm,
to
hmm.
remind myself and have the words that I would love to be able to say to myself written on the page
Mm,
and be able to see that
mm,
and affirm that for myself, even though I don't fully feel it yet. It's not what comes naturally yet. That
hmm.
it is
Hmm.
what I would like to be able to, what I aspire to be able to feel. Is that
Hmm.
at the end of the day, regardless of how much I do, how much I produce, how many people I show up for, that it's okay when things don't go the way that you plan them in your head, and that you can
Hmm.
continue to go and you have a million other opportunities to do the things that you want to do.
Yeah. I like what you said about, even though it's not, even when you read, even though it's not something that you fully believe, it's something that you inspire, and it's something, it's something you want to feel. And I think sometimes that ends up being a misconception about affirmations, or I call them speak life statements, is
Yeah.
that once I read it, I feel it automatically, right? Like,
Yeah.
I believe it initially. And I tell my clients all the time, the initial goal, it's a future goal, but it's not your initial goal. The initial goal is not to believe it as soon as you say it. The initial goal is not belief. The initial goal is to say it, because the more you say it, the more you read it, the more you allow yourself to speak it, then the more you'll eventually end up believing it. Because all the other things, like you mentioned the perfectionism didn't just happen overnight, right? It didn't just happen after a year of something. It was something that was from childhood on. And so
Yeah.
through years of just feeling like I'm not enough, or I got to do all the things to be enough, that's what end up creating the belief that it's not okay, right? Like, perfection is the only option. And so when we're trying to change our thinking, it takes just the amount of the same amount of, maybe not exactly the amount of time, but it takes just the amount of work, same amount of work to try to reframe your thinking for sure.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So one of the things about this poem is it's all about acceptance, right? It's all about accepting that imperfections are okay, and accepting that, because recognizing that perfection doesn't define self-worth or self-value. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we live in a society, particularly now, where you are just inundated with so much information. And oftentimes it's so much conflicting information about what it takes to be successful, or what it means to be
Mm,
successful, or how you define
mhm,
success. And
mhm,
as a
mhm,
teacher, I am seeing at face value how much materialism and
mhm,
um, how much of our ideas of success are external of ourselves and the things that we genuinely need to feel good and to feel whole and to be present.
mm,
So I am working to unravel that idea. And I think that it's
mm,
hard to work to unravel that idea as an individual in a society in which you are inundated with messages that are the opposite of what you would like to get to, because
mhm,
once it starts with the learning, right? It's recognizing that perfectionism is not going to get me to where I need to be, that I need to fail and
mhm,
fail over and over again and learn from
mm,
comfortable in that. And I think that in
mhm,
the classroom, that's something that I push my students, right? They are like, oh, I
mhm,
failed. Well, damn, like that, it happened. What can I do? You can do test
mhm,
correction. You can come after school and we can review the information. We can, like, there are all these other options of, say, I didn't do well the first time. And I think that
mm,
school affirms
mm,
our parents affirm this for us, society as a whole affirms for us, that if you don't do it right the first time, you might as well throw in the towel. You messed up. You didn't prepare enough. You weren't good enough. You weren't ready. And
mm,
so
mhm,
this is
mhm,
your fault. And so how do we expect for people to get to a place where they feel like failure is the only way to succeed? But all the people who are successful, or many of the people who are successful, don't tell us that. They tell us, oh,
mhm.
you got to have the
Yeah.
perfect plan. You need to hire the consultant. You need to do this. You need to wake up at 4 a.m. Like all the things that we need to do, but not telling
Yeah.
us all of the times where they didn't wake up at 4 a.m. before they got into that practice,
Mhm,
all the
mm,
procedures that they needed to put in place in order to create that system in their life. And so it is something that it is that growth mindset that people talk
mhm,
about, but don't talk about the process of building and developing it.
mhm,
And so it's because we
mhm,
have this hey, let me show you the rosy, like beautiful version of how I got to be so successful. I just worked
mhm,
super hard and then I got there.
mhm,
People continue to build and believe that they're not doing enough, or that they're not enough, because that most people are not showing the
mhm,
hard work that it took to build those practices. And
mhm,
even when you build them, that no, there is nobody in the world that 52 weeks a year goes to the gym every day at 4 o'clock in the morning, not 4:01, not, no, they get there every single day. There's
mhm,
nobody
mhm,
who does that.
mhm.
I don't believe you. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
even those people, we have a lot of them, and it's changing, and people are realizing how important it is to create content around authenticity and sharing those things. And
Mhm,
so that's really
mhm,
great. And that's what
mhm,
I try to flood my timeline with. But it's
mhm.
impossible to evade all of the messages that are telling us that it's not failure that brings you to success, it's success that brings you to success. Um,
Mm,
and
mhm,
it's perfection that brings you to success, and it's hard work that brings you to success. And although those things are important to some degree, there is a huge level of vulnerability that needs to come into this conversation, so that young people, so
yeah,
that adults, so that people who are older, who are
mhm,
still trying to make these shifts and changes in their life, there's always time to get there. And so every once in a while you hear the stories, Oprah didn't get successful until she was in her 40s. Da, da, da. You hear those things and you try to remember, like, okay, yeah, you are on the right pace, you are on the right path, you are doing the right things. And then the next Instagram reel is, get up, shut up, do this now. And you're like, damn, I'm being reprogrammed back into the thing that I'm trying to
yeah,
get away
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and what kept coming up from you as you were talking is, especially when you then mentioned vulnerability, it's there needs to be more conversations about failing, is what I'm hearing. right? I mean, but that's what I'm hearing. Like we don't talk, like you said, it's always, and that kind of creates the mindset of like that quick fix or that
Yep.
15 minutes of fame or the instant gratification, right? Because there's this idea like, oh, if I do this thing, then it's automatically going to get me to the outcome I want.
Yes.
And then there's this false reality because there's not enough conversation about failure or failing.
I $100,000 in 10 days. Just post the faceless reel, girl. If you don't stop it, I've been doing this for 3 years and I'm still struggling.
Still, right? Yes.
3
Yes.
years, still ain't where I want. Right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
still learning. I'm still growing. I am failing flat on my face. Don't know what I'm doing. Right? And I think that like that's not the message that a lot of people want to hear. But again, when we keep putting this narrative, like it's even worse now. I think about for me as a high school student, how much pressure there was to, you want to get in college. Why would you get an F on this test? Why did you mess up? Why would you possibly let this happen? What's wrong with you? And now I'm thinking like young people now, it's not just the teacher telling them that. It's not just the parent telling them that. Now it is every other video that they watch, which is thousands of them, depending on how addicted they are to their phone. They're getting thousands of messages on a weekly basis that they are not enough. And so it creates, you feel so stifled by all that you have to do because that's what society is telling you, that you're like, well, I'm just not going to do nothing. Like, you to watch these TikToks of other people doing the thing that I want to do. And then I'm going to comment on them and make those people feel bad about themselves for trying something. And I'm not going to try nothing. I'm just going to be mad, bitter, angry, because I have no idea that the only way that they got there was failing over and over again, getting on live and having nobody watch, put the content out there and having 2 people like it, and do it over and over and over and over again until they succeeded. They a lot of them don't recognize the thousands and thousands of failures that extraordinarily successful people had to make. But also, why would they? Why would they know that if everyone is trying to be perfect, if everyone's trying to show the most perfect version of themselves? And I'm teaching young people that don't know a life without a screen.
Right, but anything else,
They don't know life without a screen. They don't know life where everyone doesn't know everything that you're doing every second of the day. They don't know what that feels like. This is their reality. So when we continue to try to make it seem like it is not real, it is very real for them. And if we are not supporting them in navigating their very real experience, then we are setting them up for failure the same way that we're setting ourselves up for failure when we want things to be the way that they used to be. It's never going back.
Right.
Never going back.
Never going back.
Now what?
Yeah. It's so interesting. That's why, I mean, in this poem, I listed a bunch of it's okay. Like, it's okay to disappoint others. It's okay to no one understands. It's okay if you don't do it perfectly, right? It's a lot of okays, but the mantra for this poem is specifically, it's okay if I fail. And I put that as the mantra out of all the okays because it's hard for us to accept failure because the expectations we put on ourselves or the thoughts we have about ourselves if we fail, right? If I fail, and it goes back to what you're saying about being vulnerable. If just admitting out loud, oh, I had to do this thing. I'm 3 years in and still struggling, right? Like, there's this level of weakness and embarrassment and shame that is attached to admitting to your failures instead of it being this level of triumph. In the sense of it, like, well, I failed, but I'm still going, right? Or I failed, this is hard. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm here. I'm still here. I'm still standing, right? Instead of it being this level of triumph, there's more of a shame about it, which is why, or embarrassment about, or weakness about it, which is why it becomes this. The narrative is it's not okay to fail.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the perfect way to phrase it, because I think that it is that's why I picked this one, because it is something that I still feel so much shame about. How could there are people who I knew in the beginning who were also in the beginning of their work of trying to build a business and things, and I'm like, oh, they over here getting clients, they over here selling curriculums, they over here getting TV shows, like they're over here doing all these things, and you just sitting here still in the classroom, still not making $1 million, still getting 8 likes on Reels, still not with the perfect content calendar, still not doing this and that. And it's like, Yes, that is where I'm at. And there are different choices that I could have made, but at the end of the day, I also could have 100% given up. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people would have given up. And not that I
Mm-hmm.
need to compare my journey to anybody else's journey, but I haven't given up. I am committed to the work that I do. I am better at my practice and at my job as a teacher because of the work that I do with Black on Black
Mm-hmm.
education. Built incredible relationships because of the work. And so I have to remind myself and say those things out loud
Yeah.
to push against the much easier thought, which is you're a
Mm-hmm.
failure. I'm not a
Yeah.
failure. I failed. And I have failed at some parts of the work, and I have done triumphantly great at other parts of the work. And I think that that is a message that I'm just consistently saying to myself, particularly in this time, because I don't I want to continue to fail. I actually want to fail a lot faster. I want to fail and not give up in these moments, right? I think that over the last 3 years, it's been like try for a month, and it didn't work out in a month. Now I'm gonna take 6 months
Mm-hmm.
and be depressed and be upset and be mad at myself and be angry and da 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 da, and then I'm gonna try again for another month and a half, and then and it's just like you're feeding directly into this narrative. Fail
Yeah.
faster,
Yeah.
better, learn from the failure, keep going.
Yeah.
That's what I want to take into this year. That's what I want 2024 to look like for myself. And I'm in a place right now where I'm like, I'm not even sure where to start. I'm not sure where to start over. I'm not sure if
Mm-hmm.
the start over that I'm starting with is even going to work. And there's so much fear around it because again, we
Mm-hmm.
want to be perfect. We want to make the right decision. We want
Mm-hmm.
to do the thing
Mm-hmm.
perfectly. But at the end of the day, it's just putting one foot again in front of the other, being strategic, asking for help, asking for support, but recognizing you can't do it all. You're never going to be able to do it all, and never going to be able to do it all at once. But one
Yeah.
day you will get there,
Yeah.
and it's okay to do that. It's okay to
Yeah.
take the time that you need to learn from your failures and continue to move forward and celebrate the wins on the
Mm-hmm.
journey.
Yeah. One thing you said that I think is so important for everybody to really think about is you said, I failed, but it doesn't mean I'm a failure. And
Yeah.
a type of thing that's the type of thought it's called labeling. And labeling is where we end up making our feelings facts, right?
Mm.
And so making feelings facts is where you feel a certain way and you make it facts about your life, right?
Yeah.
And failing is one of those things, and disappointment, right? It's like I feel like I feel disappointed, so therefore I am a disappointment, right? Or I feel upset that I disappointed someone else, or I experienced disappointment, therefore I am a disappointment, or I have failed, therefore I am a failure, right? And then before you know it, it becomes your identity, which then is why the feelings of shame, embarrassment come up, because you've now disidentified this experience as your identity as a person, which then
Yeah.
would cause you to have the shame about who you are, which then
Yeah.
cause you to question your worth and your value, and if you even deserve to try again, or if you even deserve to even go down this path, all because you made a feeling, which is valid, right? It's how you feel, but it's not the truth about about who you are. It's the truth about your experience, the truth about the emotion you're having, but it's not the truth about who you are as a failure. Like, yes, you failed. That's facts.
Yeah.
Yes, it feels, it feels sucky and it's disappointing and all the things that come with that. But that doesn't mean that's who you are as a person as a result of it.
Absolutely. And I think it's
Yeah.
not even just about the labeling that happens. It's also about it's about the labeling, and it continues to become an affirmation in the wrong direction. I think that sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we think about
Mm-hmm.
affirmations as only positive things, but you can affirm for yourself that you're a failure and that you're a disappointment and
Mm-hmm.
that you are depressed and that you are angry and that your life sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And that you
Mm-hmm.
can affirm
Mm-hmm.
that over and over again. And then your
Mm-hmm.
actions are going to start to match those affirmations because that is what you are
Mm-hmm.
telling yourself. So then you
Mm-hmm.
become
Mm-hmm.
what you never wanted to become because
Mm-hmm.
you decided that you were going to continue to affirm for yourself, then match that affirmation with action. And now you have become a failure because you keep telling yourself that that's what you are.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I like, and I spend so much time in here, so much time in here. People are like, why does she go to the gym for 2 hours every day? So I don't have to listen to what's going on in here because she is bonkers. But it's really just recognizing that I can reframe the way that I'm feeling in this moment. I can reframe the way that I felt for a long period of time. Like there is the option to do that. And so I am just in a place, particularly right now, where I don't need to fix myself. I have all the things that I need. I just need to take the slow and steady steps that I can take, that I have the capacity to take, and build on those as they become more natural. And so I'm 26 years old, just turned 26 years old a couple weeks ago. And I just
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And I just keep saying to myself, like, girl, relax, relax, please. Because it's okay. Where you're at, what you have done is fantastic and amazing and wonderful. And accept the compliments that you're given, because you get them all the time. Give some more of them to yourself and just keep trucking along. Like, that's it.
I'm quick to tell myself that I have several seats, because sometimes I'm just doing too much. Like, girl, you're doing too much. Like, just have several seats, because you're doing way too much.
Like,
and I
none
think
of it's helpful.
Yeah, none of it's helpful. And I think one of the things about this poem that I love so much is that, and it goes like to what you were just saying, it gives you this level of freedom, because it allows you to let go of those thoughts that's causing you to question who you are, or now just define, now make your feelings facts, instead of just recognize that this is how I feel. It's not the facts of who I am, right? It lets go a lot of the different things that's causing those unhelpful thoughts and those unhelpful not necessarily unhelpful feelings, but the unhelpful thoughts that leads to the actions of the self-sabotage, like you were just describing, because it's so true. And that's why, the book, my coloring book, is called My Self-Talk Speaks Life, because everything in this book is helping you speak life into your life instead of death. Those affirmations you're talking about is like those affirmations that kind of speak death. Like, it makes things die, because it's causing this negative perception, this doom gloom insight about yourself and about the world. And it just feels like, it's like, if I had to do an imagery, it's like, it's just, black and white, and every flower, every leaf is dead. The fish and the ponds are up at the top, like nothing's living in that environment. Everything is dead. But when you speak life, and that's encouragement and motivation, and you say you compliment your own self, and you are acknowledging your own wins, you start to bring things to life, and you start to feel the energy, to feel the power you have within your situation to really move forward and create the life that you want to live. So, this is one of those things where it's a level of freedom, that, because you detach this thoughts from like who you are as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's nobody who knows who you are as a person as much as you do. And there are things, we're always going to have things about ourselves that we don't like, that we want to see change. But you talking about how shitty doing, I'm so sorry, I'm not supposed to curse on here, how terrible it's supposed to be, or how terrible it is to do that thing, doesn't do anything to change that thing. And so and sometimes the voice or the thing that's telling you that thing is terrible or needs to be changed, oftentimes isn't even yours. It's not you who thinks that the back rolls are terrible, and no, that is society telling you that. Because if you go back 250 years, 300 years, being a big body Benz was all the rage. So society decided that was no longer what it wanted, right? We was in the BBL phase. Now being BBL is not cute. Now that's out. You're never going to be able to keep up with what society wants from you, right? So now, how about we start to turn down the volume on the voices that don't belong to us in our heads, and turn up the voices on the ones that are, right? And so it's I work out because it clears my mind, not because I'm worried about what all these other people have to say about what I look like and whether it's good enough or not. Like, I gotta let it go. And some days, I'm not feeling it. I'm not. And that's the thing. It's, how do you find the balance between accepting your feelings for what they are and recognizing that you are you can absolutely feel what you feel and hold the same truth that this is how I feel right now. And then when
Mm-hmm.
I'm frolicking on a beach somewhere with the people that I love, that I'm not thinking for 2 seconds in that moment about the back roll that I was thinking about
Mm-hmm.
30. So like
Mm-hmm.
if in the times where you feel the happiest, the most present, the most in your body,
Mm-hmm.
that these things aren't things that are bothering you when you're in that space, then it's something that's not really that important, because that's the feeling that we're all striving for in life. That's the space that we all want to be living in. So if
Mm-hmm.
that's the case, then why is it that I feel a need in these other it's just like our brain, when we're not present, when we're not in the moment, our brain is looking for something to be upset about, to fix, to do something
Mm-hmm.
about. And
Mm-hmm.
we are
Mm-hmm.
giving into.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what is too? Like our brain does that because our brain is created to protect us. So it's
Yeah,
constantly scanning for danger, right? It's constantly scanning for if there's a threat, whether it's physical or emotional threat. And so that's why our brain immediately comes to, oh, this is a problem. I gotta find a way to solve it. I gotta find a way to avoid it or whatever.
yeah,
Because it's programmed to identify a threat, identify and alert, and then immediately focus on that so we can get rid of the alert, right? I mean, not the alert, but get rid of the problem, right? And so um, that's what it leads to. And I think when you were talking about the aspect of letting go, it's, recognizing too is like when to let go, what to let go of, and how to know what to let go of. I think one of the things you mentioned was just the different thoughts that are unhelpful, and right, and noticing, is this thought helping me to believe in myself, helping me to go forward, or is this thought causing me to want to freeze, not move forward, criticize myself, right? Like what's helping me, and this is also going to give relationships, like recognize like what do I need to let go of so that I am able to freely give myself the permission just to be me, do
yeah,
me, and move forward.
absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
it's like when and how do we make those choices, and how long is it going to take us to get there? And if it takes
Hmm.
10 years, it takes 10 years. Like it's not a judgment
Hmm.
call around how long it takes you to get there. It's not a judgment call of you're taking
Yeah.
too long to get on your journey. It is a journey. And as much as
Hmm.
you can have people or have times where there's 10, 15 years in your life where you've accepted this mindset and this belief to be true, and then the world throws something in your face that completely derails your ability to be on that same
Yeah.
path. You got, like, we have to roll with the punches of what we
Hmm.
are handed, and
Hmm.
the stronger that our toolkit becomes, the easier it is to handle those
Hmm.
big life changes. But they're not going to
Hmm.
stop it. They're not going to push to the side, and our brains are not going to just be la di da di da, I love you, you're great. Like that's just not what's going to happen, because
Yeah.
we do not live in a place where we are inundated with those messages. So how do you create the conditions for your brain to hear those messages more and more often, and to for you to believe them by backing up the affirmations, the positive affirmations, and
Hmm. Hmm.
backing those up with action? Because at the end of the day, I can look in the mirror and say I'm strong, I'm strong, I'm strong, but then I don't do anything to actually like make that true.
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
your your brain is going to revert back to, no, you're weak,
Hmm.
you're weak, because you aren't
Hmm.
doing the things. The action is always going to be the thing that takes us out of those moments where we are going crazy in our head. So thinking about, for me, it's like when I'm in that spiral, what is one thing that I can do right now? If it's journaling this out, great. If it's sending an email to somebody to ask for help about something, great. If it's go and watch TV to numb my brain for a little bit so that I don't think about this thing, so that I can then
Hmm.
have like the mental mush to then
Right.
turn around and rebuild. Like sometimes it's different all the time. Is it going for a walk with a dog? Is it going to the gym? Like what are the things, the practices that allow you to get back again to that place of presence and that place of stillness? um do that thing and then come back to whatever you're worried about. But continuing to sit in the cycle is just, it's not going to help us move to
Yeah.
where we want to go.
Right. And that's it's in that cycle is then telling you that it's not okay to accept what's happening. Right. Like I have to fix this. I gotta get rid of it in order for things to be okay. But when you allow yourself to focus on what you can and cannot control, and when you allow yourself to be okay with things that um are not even worth your energy, right?
Yeah,
Even if you could change it, even if you had the power to change it, is it worth your energy to do all the things you have to do to change it, right? It's like
Absolutely.
And that level of acceptance is what gives you the freedom to just be like, you know what, it's okay. Like, it's all right. I'm gonna be fine. Yeah,
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 agreed.
yeah, yeah. Well, this has been an awesome, awesome, awesome conversation. I love to end it with um like a final thought, a lesson that my guests would like to drop at the end, or a takeaway they had throughout our conversation. So what would that one thing be for you, Eva, whether it's a lesson you want other people to take away, or just from us conversation, just from our conversation, a lesson you took away from today's lesson number 7, it's okay to let go.
I think just what is one thing that you can do tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're watching this, to remind yourself that it is okay to come back to yourself and the
Mm,
version of yourself that believes in you, because that version
mm,
exists, right? So what is one thing you can do? Is it putting a sticky note on your mirror in your bathroom? Is it setting a reminder on your phone? What is one thing that you can do to remind yourself on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, however often that you need it for the place and the time that you're currently in? What is it that you can do to bring yourself back to the present, to bring yourself back to the joy, to bring yourself back into the truth, right? And the truth is that it's
mm.
okay to fail, that you actually need failure to be successful, that you're like, there's nobody that just came out the womb content create. Like there's like nobody came out knowing all the things that they needed to know to get where they wanted to get. So the sooner that we can accept that, recognize the journey as a part of it, recognize that we can document the journey and have that be a part of it, like there's space for it. And so love on yourself a little bit more than you think that you need, because
Mm.
you don't have to earn self-love. You don't have to earn self-care. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to earn treating yourself nicely and being respectful and kind to yourself. Um, you don't have to earn any of those things. So what are the ways that you can remind yourself of that?
I love that. I love that. I think for me, the takeaway or the lesson, when we talked about making feelings facts, I think that's so important, because the making the feeling facts then leads to the self sabotage, what then leads you to and then engaging in behaviors and thoughts that aren't helpful, and it prevents you from being able to let things go. And so, I think the reminder is allowing us to recognize this is just a feeling. It's not the facts about my situation and about myself. It's the facts about how I feel.
Yeah,
And that's the two different things. And so I think that's a big takeaway for me. So tell the people,
absolutely.
how can they get connected with you? How can they work with you
Absolutely.
or get connected with you?
Yeah, so if you want to work with us or just know more about our mission, our vision, the work that we're doing, if you're an educator that works in a school, we work specifically with teachers in a coaching capacity, can also come and support or build curriculum for schools. So still kind of figuring out and pulling the pieces together, but the overall goal is to support teachers and schools in building strong culture through student voice and student-centered practices. So if that's something that you think is necessary in your school, if you're one of these teachers that are tired and walking in and out of the building feeling heavy because there's a
Mm.
culture in your building that just is not serving you, is not serving the kids, is not serving what we know that we need our education system to do, let's have a conversation. Let's think about how we can support ourselves so that we can then support the young people, because it starts with how we are showing up. You can't be student centered if you're not me centered. And so you can reach out to me at Eva at blackonblackeducation.com. You can go to www.blackonblackeducation.com. We recently dropped a documentary on how we started and why we started Black on Black Education,
I
which
love
is
it.
just one of the most incredible pieces of content that I've ever created. And so I'm super grateful for all the people who were a part of the process of making that happen. And yeah, just stay connected, support at Black on Black Ed on Instagram, Black on Black Education on LinkedIn. Those are the two most popular places that you'll find us. But yeah, we just want to see Black and brown kids win, and they are going to win when the Black and brown adults and all of the adults, actually, all the adults around them
Mhm,
actually want to
mhm.
see them win. They care about what they have to say, and that they use what they have to say and the needs that they're articulating, even when it's bad behavior, recognizing that it is all in a quest for someone to get their needs met. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's basically what we're doing. If you want to work with us or continue the conversation, just email me, eva@blackandblackeducation.com, or DM me at blackandblacked on Instagram, and we can figure out how we keep this work going.
Yes, and this is a great organization. So listen, if any of that connects with you, don't hesitate. Reach out. And I didn't know you had a documentary. I can't wait to actually see the documentary. You said that's on the website?
Yes, it's on the website. It's on YouTube. I'll definitely shoot you an email.
Yeah, share it with me. I definitely want to watch that.
Yeah.
And so what's up with me on my neck of the woods? First things first, there is a masterclass, a free masterclass, live virtual free masterclass coming up on March the 18th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, dominating the fear of failure and disappointment, which goes exactly with what we were talking about today. And so the whole masterclass is all about, honestly, a lot of what we talked about today. It's all about being able to dominate the fear, not necessarily get rid of the fear, because the fear is going to happen, but how to get past through this fear of failing, being okay with failing, being okay with being disappointed, so that you can move forward and doing the things that you want to do with your life. So if that is you, if you're someone that's like, I really want to be able to overcome this fear because I'm tired of it paralyzing me, I'm tired of it getting in the way of me being able to do the things I know I need to do to live the life I want to live, then this is for you. Visit natashabspeaks.com/events to register for that event. And then make sure you visit the speakliketransformation.com/LSL store to purchase your copy of the My Self Talk Speaks Life Inspirational Coloring Book. And also the Hello Me, It's Nice to Meet You is officially in stock. And so you can finally get access to the healing journal. This journal is filled with journal prompts, healing points, journal activities, all the things that you need to help you really heal and really start your healing journey. And then there is a bundle where you can get both of these, plus an affirmation jar with affirmation cards that are affirmations from the coloring book inside. So all those things are available on the website, speakliketransformation.com/LSL-store. And if you would like to work with me, if you would like to follow me, stay connected, you can follow me on Instagram at Speak Like Transformation. TikTok, Speak Like Transformation. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're not on YouTube right now, take a moment, hop over to YouTube, visit Speak Like Transformation TV, click subscribe, click the notification button. Make sure you like and share this video. If this was something that really connected with you, make sure you like and you share it. And I have a new page on Facebook. So if you're following me on Facebook, head on over to the new Facebook. It's still Speak Like Transformation, but it's a new one. So now the handle is Speak Like Transformation SLT. Visit me there, y'all. I'm no longer on the other Facebook page. So if you're a Facebook person, you got to follow me on the other Speak Like Transformation page. You'll know it's me. My picture is the profile. So you'll know that it's me. But yes, stay tuned for my final episode of Speak Like Lessons, which is going to be next Thursday, same time, same place. Listen, if you've been with me since number one, even if you just tuned in today for the first time, you gotta show up for the final episode. You have to show up for the final episode. If you're just now tuning in, you're like, hey, wait, it's over already? Wait a minute. I just logged on. It's okay. As soon as I hit end, it's gonna be available on the Speak Like Transformation TV YouTube channel. So you can visit that YouTube channel to be able to access the replay and watch it from the very beginning, because we definitely dropped some gems. Eva was definitely dropping some gems. So if you missed it, make sure you visit the YouTube channel to be able to watch the replay. And as always, until I see you again, make sure you be bold, be safe, and speak life. Have a good night, everyone.
Hi, everybody.